So I'm in the US with my family and we're going back to Spain in a couple days, and there is this morning walk that I keep coming back to and looking forward to. It's that 35-minute walk between home and daycare that we take every single weekday. There's two paths. We either go through the neighborhood where we see the nice houses around us faster, or we take the beach route. We go straight down to the beach, take a left, and it is coast, beautiful, paved, and quiet. And this morning walk has become a staple in my family's life, if it's my wife doing it or if it's me doing it. And this is an experience that I would never have been able to research or learn about until I actually lived it. So the facts about Sitges make this city pretty attractive. It is a beach town. It's 30 minutes away from Barcelona. It has a cool international community, a cool history, all things that I could have researched and did research that made me excited. But the things that have the most impact on my day-to-day life are things that I would have never been able to understand or learn or feel until we tested the waters there as a family. What those daily walks felt like, what the smells were like, what the people were like, the emotions and the feelings that they gave you once you were passing by them on the street. These experiences made one thing very clear for me. You can't research your way into a life. You have to live your way into one. As an only child from a single mom, I moved a lot. I lived at least 6 different places from age 0 to 15, from South Dakota to Wisconsin to California to Florida. And these were all moves that were made not necessarily for fun, but for necessity. We had to move for a family, for a job. We had to just go and make do. We had to learn how to start fresh and manage the uncomfortable reality of having to find new friends, a new home, a new city, a new way of life. Probably the most jarring move was from San Diego to West Palm Beach, Florida when I was 14 years old. Just finished my freshman year of high school, had my group of friends that I loved. I loved my life. I loved where we lived. I was on the basketball team. I had, a great life there. And one day my mom walks into my room and tells me that she got a job in Florida. And not only that, my aunts also lived in Florida. So making a move there would make a lot of sense. So we did it. And when we got to Florida, it was not what we expected. Our house was okay, but they had just changed the zoning rules so that I was not going to the school that I thought I was going to go to. I was going to school in the hood. I was not accustomed to a school in the hood. It was very different. It was an eye-opening experience that really changed who I am, my identity, how I saw myself at a very interesting time in my life. And yeah, it really changed a lot. My mom moved us because she had to, but when I was 21, fresh out of college, I finally got to move because I wanted to. I went to Korea when I was 21, stayed for 1 year in Seoul, and I will never forget the feeling that I had when I stepped out of that taxi into my new neighborhood, wondering what the hell I had just gotten myself into. The smells, the addresses, the writing, the people, the way people looked at me, how I felt as a 21-year-old black kid with a high top fade. I used to have a nice high top fade in this foreign land by myself. This was an experience that no blog or no research could have prepared me for. I did some research and it told me about the day-to-day life. It told me how to use the subway. It told me what neighborhoods had great restaurants. But it could not have prepared me for what I actually felt in that moment and what I felt for the next year living in Korea. That Korea trip really solidified the idea that lived experiences are everything. You can't understand a place until someone that you know and trust, who also knows you and your best interest and your specific situation, can help you decide by giving you the context that isn't available if you research it yourself. And then this trend kept continuing. I relied on people that had lived in the places that I was thinking about going so that I could understand what the experience was actually going to be like beyond just the surface level research, influencers, internet research that all of us normally do. That was necessary for me for sure, but having the actual person that could rely on, that knew me and knew what I was looking for, was all the difference. Now, in the past, I was very pro leave where you're from. Leave your home, go move to a new country, experience it for yourself. And I still think this is true. But now, as I'm talking mostly to parents and people with families, I understand that the stakes are different. You don't have the time, the bandwidth, the energy, the money to just go test new places all the time. You can't drag your family around to a new country or a new city just because you see it on Instagram and that you think it might be cool. It's great that you have these urges. It's great that you want to experience different places, but now we have to be a little bit more tactful about how we understand a place. It can't just be about the surface level things, about the beach, about the budget, about the people. It has to be about the daily flow. Does it have the infrastructure that you need as a family to function the way that you want to function? Does it allow you to be who you want to be from that key window, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., which is the only time of the day that you're really going to get to control who you are as a family? Now, this is something that I talk a lot about, is the 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. window, because in the morning, 9 to 4, you're working, your kid is at daycare, set. After 7 p.m., you're having dinner, you're winding down, set. So 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., it's a small window, but that is the only time of the day where you are really going to have control about what your family does, how you function, where you go, what type of activities you do. So you need to choose a city that is in line with the way you see yourself functioning as a family. For us, we wanted to be an active beach family, so Sea Chase was a great option for us. And we had a little bit of history since my wife, being from Barcelona, had spent time in Sea Chase as a teenager. So we were able to narrow down our options in terms of testing the waters. Sea Chase landed high on that list. So when you think about a city, you can't just choose the city that is the expat hub or the place that makes the most sense on paper. You have to be able to test the waters because, again, it is the lived experiences that have the biggest impact on your day-to-day life. You can find a beach anywhere. You can find an international community basically anywhere. But what you can't find is these morning walks that fit you and make you feel good. What you can't find is these little neighborhoods, how they're set up in a way that makes you inspired and excited to walk through them every day. The way that you move as a family, it's subtle. It's very subtle and it's very distinct and unique to who you are, to you and your family. So as much as we would all like to rely on blogs and influencers and Instagram to tell us where to move and how to move and where exactly is the perfect place for our family, that perfect place doesn't exist. What does exist is a place that suits your family very, very well and allows you to be the type of family that you see yourself becoming. So as soon as I get back to Spain in a couple days, I'm very much looking forward to that 35-minute walk across the beach, because this is the way that I like to live my life. This is where my family functions well, and ultimately this is a place that, through testing the waters, I'm able to understand personally through lived experiences that this is the place that my family can call home.